Testing, testing. Okay. So today will be a chill stream. I'll just edit the new region, the new coast region that I'll hope to add with the next update. And I just messed around in it and I hope I saved. Let me see. I didn't. Okay, that's fine. I know what to do. So this is the actual coast proper. So there's the ocean, and right now it's built like a eroded stone maze. So all these walkways connect with each other, and there are temples as usual. There's a little village here. But yesterday I flooded a part of the forest. Let me actually show you. So yeah, this is the flooded section of the forest. And if I jump in here, so the boundaries are still, I have to change them, but but because the water is so high in the flooded forest, it doesn't have the edges. So that's new. I mean, you've seen that with the bridges that don't have the edge lines, and but now I have those. I need to fix the boundaries. So as you can see, they don't fit right. I need to split them into different types for this to work correctly. But I will do the same thing with the coast, so that you have, when I go back, that you have these sections of beach that are just directly connected to the water, and you can't walk into the water. So it's not as dangerous as the bridges. Yeah, and to bring that out more, I want to bulldoze all of this. Maybe not all of it, because I need some height variation for the game to shine. But this will be a more flat region. And I still haven't solved the elevation problem with I think it'll be a swamp region. Because that'll also be mostly water, but I'll see what I can do when I come to that. Maybe I have a new idea for the terrain when it's time for that. Okay, so let's just begin. So there's a more yellow terrain color, and it's a bit darker. Actually, well, it could be an illusion. I think the value is pretty much the same, but it looks like I could use this as wet sand. So having the brighter beige color as the dry sand, and then the more yellow color as wet sand, and I think that works for the look of the beaches. So that's pretty cool. And so I imagine this as you see all these pawns here, and they will just be tidal pawns. So I'll move everything of this, all the elevation here, I'll move one space down, and that should open up this whole part of the coast. So let's see. For that I need to, well, I'll have to go at this in slices, so I don't mess up the difference between the little hills and the ground. So like this. And yeah, it's not easy to not get confused by this. Like here. But I mean, it's not that important. I can always just redo the hills. But yeah, something like that. So it loses a bit of the interest, but I think that's fine. It increases the overall diversity of the regions, so I think that's a fair trade-off. And it'll be only a part of the coast that looks like this. Let's see. Okay, this needs to go. And yeah, I should have painted these in beforehand, so let's do that now. Because I can flood fill cut off regions like this, for example, and this. If I flood fill this, yeah, it'll be yellow. It'll be completely yellow. So let's flood first. All this rock, just wet sand. And yeah, bitrate might have issues when I'm moving fast. But there's not that many of these. Okay, there's a problem here. Fix that here as well. So when the lines get drawn, then that means I have an elevation problem somewhere. Okay, this one, this one, this one, and then that's almost it. I'll leave this as stone or rubble. yeah, that's good. There's one I missed. Okay, let's continue with the elevation. So one thing I want to add here is a large temple complex. And it'll be half submerged. But I'm not sure where I would place that. So the boundary of the region quadrant is right here, so I'm already over it. And I mean, I have a lot of space downwards in the world data, so I can put it anywhere. But maybe, yeah, maybe that's too soon to decide that. Okay, let's see which one of these can I move downward. I think, yeah, this temple should be at water level. And I'm destroying all the boundaries right here. So right now, so I'll have to fix them afterwards. But that's okay. Hey, well, I assumed the level maps was generated. Do you handcraft the whole thing? Yeah. Yeah, the whole world is made by hand and by me in this editor. And then you get a random path through it. So the how it works is that if I go somewhere where I didn't destroy all the markers, actually let me save this. Right here, if I turn on the boundaries, actually let's look at the patches. So the world is divided in these colored patches, and they all are connected with each other with these red boundaries. And what you get in a run is just a chain of these through the world. And that's how it works. Get it, nice, thanks. Yeah, the downside is that I need a pretty large world for this to work. But that's actually why I make this game, for the world. For the in-game world, not like a charity thing. Okay, let's move this down and all of this. And yeah, I'm using a controller to control the editor, because that's more fun. What do I do with this? I think that's fine. Let's actually bulldoze this. Oh, this could get complicated. Not quite what it was. Something like that. Need idea with the controller. Make your inner loop fun and quick is a win. You mean like the editing? Yeah. Okay, that's pretty good for a start. Okay, let's move all of this down. This and yeah, this as well. So one good thing about bringing this all to sea level is that I can connect all the patches with bridges over the water. So there are more connections for the path algorithm to choose from. I mean, I could connect them with bridges that are just higher up, but it feels more natural that way. Okay, so I like this elevation here, that it connects over there, but I'll move this down. And then this as well. Do I leave this here? So this is the very southeastern edge of the world map, right now at least. And I have this large mountain here. But it would actually be much cooler if it wasn't there. So let's make this a little basin. I think that's what you call it. And well, I'll have to carve a path here as well. Okay, those two don't line up. This needs to be lower. And actually, yeah, let's move this all down. And this becomes water. Like this. It's not ideal to have these large obstacles, because that's so this area right here is always a round trip, or it's always you come in one direction and you go out one direction, so that's not ideal. But yeah, I like the idea. So, and actually this probably should have stayed at a higher elevation. Yeah. And this probably as well. Yeah, that's much cooler. Maybe I'll move this down. And then flood this. So yeah, I'll have to go over all the objects anyways, so they're not that important. But this is much cooler than before. And I can then maybe move all of this down. Oh god. Let's move this down. Okay. Missed this one. Mm. I mean, I think it's better than before. But also not... So, no, it's neither. It's not really a beach, but it's also not really something rocky that's washed by the waves. So maybe... So yeah, there's another problem. I want the places in the world to be interesting, but I also don't want them to be too too recognizable. Because you will visit them again. So that's not that easy. But if I... Yeah, let's actually move all of this down, and then I have a nice central area where it's just the beach. And everything around can have elevation. But yeah, the not that recognizable constraint is out the window if I add the sunken complex on the beach. So maybe that's not something I can deliver. Okay. You don't want the player to recognize the locations? I thought that would be a good thing. Well, it's a two-edged sword. So having cool locations is awesome, and I want that. But if you walk through them a second time, it shouldn't be lame. So how I do it right now is that I make the interest spread out in regions. So there's an area where there are pretty deep canyons, and there's an area where there are rivers. There's an area where the forest is flooded, and that's how I do it right now. But the dungeons are pretty recognizable, and I'll just have to see how it goes, because yeah. You don't want things to get boring fast? Yeah. I don't want... So I know the feeling from playing the game where the path leads you somewhere you've already been, and if the things you do there are just the same every time, then that gets boring really fast. So this corner right here is pretty bad, because if the path leads you in here, all you ever do is go out over there. That's not the case with any other place in the world, because the path, let's say you enter the village, and it will have different paths through the village each time, depending on the boundaries. So the village is a cool location, but you'll visit it differently each time, if that makes sense. So that's what I want. And that's actually what I need for the game not to be boring after a couple of runs. Okay, so now that this is gone, how do I cut this up into patches? So the problem is I either need these little elevations to make a cut with the boundaries, or I need very narrow stretches that I can cut across. So like this, for example, where I cut across this stretch. But if I have a very open place like here, then that's a problem. I can cut it here, but I can't cut it in half. I could probably use just the rocks here as the corners of a cut. So I could cut from here to here and from here to here. That may work, but the entities are pretty flimsy, so they may move. Hey McNally, stream early today. Am I tripping? No, it's early today because I have to have stuff to do in an hour, so it's a bit earlier. Okay. Actually, let's... Do I have a point that I can pretty up? Yeah, let's just use this. So if I make this prettier, and actually I don't want green grass here. So let me change that. There's sand, and then this is weed. No, this is grass. Okay. Didn't want to do any of that. Okay. Where was the pretty stretch? Here. So let's do that again. Wait. Okay, it's called stone. That's stupid. This is now wet sand. There are no roots. what else could there be? I'll think about it later. Okay. Yeah, there shouldn't be any trees either. So this is super flat terrain. But I mean, it'll make the areas with more elevation really pop. So this bridge is pretty bad. Let's just leave it there for a second. And should it have grass on it? Probably not. But they'd be pretty dead if it didn't have. Not sure. I think I'm missing an element. I'm missing something to make this work. Oh, you find mussels or clams on the beach. So they could be destructible, kind of, not really. They could be obstacles if I can paint them. And of course it has a C in the name. Or mussel. That's an M. But they needn't be an entity. It could just be the shell. And that's S, of course. But I'll paint that. It'll have a sprite. So that's cool. Let's actually make that. Let's see if I can represent that with these pixels. Okay, what can I reuse? Grab 362. That's not used, so let's put it there. How do I paint a shell? So the most obvious thing would be something that opens. Well, that looks like a shield. That's not good. Maybe a conch or something like that. But that's a challenge. Maybe like that. I mean, I could make it abstract like this. But that's not that great. Maybe. No. Also not that great. I mean, this is the most obvious shell. And the shield is larger. So if I give this a salmon color, something, that could work. Let's just use that. Okay. Uh, 362. And it needs to have, let's give it beige at first, because I can't remember what the other color is. Hey Ethan, how's it going? Nice to see ya. Shell. Brittle shell of a brittle housing and housing of a that's too long. I thought the stream froze then. Was I being so still? The stream should be fine. For now. You know how it is. Yeah, you're thinking, okay. Okay, I need the ID. Shell. And destructible object. That's all it is. Entity sound, and let's just put it in with the all the bone stuff. So it's flimsy, which means it has the flimsy flag, so it's destroyed in one hit. The color is maybe a rose color. Initializer. What are you talking about? Overrides previous. Okay, did I? Oh yeah, stupid. And let's put that in with the theme. I did remove the what was it? I removed something here. I don't remember what the probability was. Let's give it 10. And then let's flood something just to see. There's an awful lot of those. Well, yeah, that's too much. I think I need to add to this. Not as many rocks as well. Did I tell you someone copied my game in the game jam I'm in? I announced my idea and showed footage of my game, and then like 10 hours later they made a copy of it. That's sad. On their part. That they couldn't come up with something themselves. But it also means your idea was pretty good. Why are there so many? Let's move it to 30. Luckily theirs was shitty. Would have been rough if they made a better one. Yeah, that'd be... But who steals game jam ideas? Probably, yeah, I mean, could be school kids. who are just amazed by your idea. Okay, why did that take so long? I mean, it kind of works, but no. I mean, the color is wrong. Let's fix that. Just very crudely to get the idea. I mean, that looks pretty cool. The beige with the salmon color, that looks pretty nice. With the yellow, not so much. Yeah, that's much better. Do I keep the tall grass? Oh, you know what? Let's lose the grass and bring back the roots. But instead of roots, they are driftwood. Also need some boulders. Like the effect of the bushes moving. Yeah, it's actually the same one as with the... I actually can't see really, but the water moves the same way. It's all just one shader. Okay, that's a bit much. Subtle but great. Yeah, I got pretty lucky in that I found a couple of things that I can apply to basically everything, as with the moving grass and the super simple particles. So I got lucky in that I can just do very little and have a pretty good effect. Okay, I want to flood this. And that's better. Maybe day. Okay. Ah, but it's so empty. Let me see if the... the other sand color changes anything. Unassigned. This region is unassigned. That's funny. Yeah, I need the grass. Even though it's nonsensical. I mean, there would be grass, just not directly near the water. If you think of dunes near the beaches, So basically I would have this in the middle, and then this on the outside. Can I get some shells, please? No. Okay, I need more. Need to spawn more. Oh, come on. Let's do it by hand. Apart from the fern, I'm not sure. I mean, the driftwood should also be... Okay, no. This is getting complicated. So no rocks and no boulders here. Just roots and shells. But in the sand, no palms, no palm trees, no roots, but rocks and boulders and well, I can actually put 1 or 2 palm trees in there to keep it interesting. How do you save the level editor additions when you build the game? You mean you mean the world data file format? So it's all just one file. I have, well, it's 2 files actually. So when you were editing the level, then how do you save those changes? And that gets baked into the you mean the executable, not level the world. So it's all really simple. The game, so the world data is just, so all these tiles, each tile is a struct in the code, and it has only, I think, color, sprite, and if an object is on it, and some flags. And I have a giant array for the whole world, all 3 levels, that has an entry for each tile. And I just dump that to disk, and that's it. So if I press save, that's written in totality. The whole thing, which is only 40 megabytes or so, so it's not that crazy. And all the graphics in the bitmap also get just written out. And that's it. And I put them in the executable by using object copy. So I just take the world data, which is just the binary of all the tiles, and I compress that, and then I put it in the binary. Okay, so the world data gets exported into a file format, then baked into the binary, because you only ship single binary, right? Yeah, so it's pretty simple, actually. Let me look at it. So it's in the make file. Where is it? Yeah, here it is. So these are the, this is how I put all the data into the executable. So I have the terrain, and I need a terrain object file. So I take the zip terrain data and call object copy. No idea what no exe is, but this generates an object file from the zipped file, and I do that with the bitmap, with the audio, with the shaders. And then in the game, I get these symbols by the linker. So the linker gives me these symbols, and they are just pointers to the binary data that I put in. And then I can say in the game, I have a read file function. And to split debug and release, because debug build doesn't use the binary files in the executable. That's only in release. So in my read file function, I just switch on it and check if I'm in release mode, then use the symbol. Otherwise, really read the file from disk, and that's it. That's it. So yeah, and these are named by object copy. So it's always underscore binary and then the file name, and then start and end. And that's basically it. Okay, let's see. I've done a weird way for my game where the world data gets converted into a header file that has a massive static const uint 8 level data array. Yeah, that's the other route. That's the other option. But I didn't want to, because the world data is 40 megabytes. I didn't want to deal with the compile times, which could just be a non-problem. I haven't tested it. Okay, let's flood this with the outer. The outer sand, and then bring in the inner one. Oh, this looks much better. The palms. Well, Still not that great. Hey Spare, are you planning to add procedural level generation or will it remain hand-built? So the majority will remain hand-built. I may add a procedural generation for some parts, but they would be special. It's very similar to what SoCal does when it converts GLSL to a header file with the vertex and fragment shaders as bit static strings, and then makes a static inline constructor to build the uniforms and stuff for you. Okay. SoCal targets Metal, Vulkan, WebGPU, and OpenGPL, so its header file output is dependent on what platform you target. Yeah, so that's much more complicated than what I tried to do, for example. But yeah, the shader files are really annoying. In that for especially with pound defines. So if you have a constant that you have to have in the game and in the shader, there's no way to easily transfer them unless you make a uniform, and then that's, yeah. I mean, if you update uniforms only once a frame, then that's pretty easy. But I'm not sure if you'll get into problems when you do that more often. Or have a lot of them. I think there's also a limit on how many uniforms you can have. But I think I looked that up once, but forgot what it was. And that depends on the driver and everything. But there's a minimum required for each OpenGL version, I think. In uniforms. Okay, not there. Okay, so I need the trees, otherwise it's really lame. But this is a good compromise, I think. This is sandy region, right? Yeah, could make some palm tree style stuff. These are palm trees. Got it. Some level of random generation might add to the replayability. Yes. So the path is random, and I intend to so the enemy spawns are randomized, and where you spawn in the world. So there's quite a lot already random, but yeah, random level generation would be something, but that's far in the future. So is this enough? And actually I can just do this. Come on, give me some shells. But too many before, now there are too few. I was playing the beta, the water was much smaller. Okay, dart traps will piss me off, but might be cool to use against enemies. Yeah. So dart traps and pressure plates are something I have on the agenda. Problem is only that I can't place them randomly because they have, well, maybe, but they should be, yeah, if they're placed, they should be meaningful and fun. So I'll probably have to place them all by hand, and that's a lot of work. Tried the demo yesterday, loved the atmosphere. Thanks, Bear. Appreciate it. So does this work? So maybe I should add, maybe I should save this and then add, oh God, completely forgot how to control the editor. Let me add some enemies. Crabs, of course. Some crabs, and then maybe skeletons, because why not? Does this work? Should I have stuff in the water? Stones, maybe? No, not the shells. That's not bad. Stones. Yeah, the stones help make it look like a shallow tidal pond instead of just nondescript depth of water. They also make it a bit more confusing. So what if I remove them from the land? Well, I need the boulders. And the yeah, I mean, the shells would make more sense if they were on the floor and you could walk over them. What else is destructible? Yeah, the should actually be food that you pick up. on the ground. Still not 100% satisfied, but this is much better than before. Maybe with some more palm trees. Maybe if I make it look like this. Maybe in daylight. Come on. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And it's actually not that much more work than in all the other regions. But I need islands. So I'll have to change this into islands. That's actually cool. I like that. I like that very much. Alright guys, short stream today, I'll have to go, but I'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, usual time. So, thank you very much for stopping by. And yeah, thank you for all the support, as always. It's been amazing. And I will spend the rest of the day, once I'm back, turning this into islands. So, yeah, thanks, Bear. Glad you stopped by today. Alright, guys, have a nice rest of your Saturday, and I will see you later in Discord or tomorrow on stream. Alright, bye bye.